Welcome, everyone, to the first call of the Body Love speaker series, where we're having real conversations about everything from body shame to body love with some amazing women who are all using their expertise to revolutionize the body image movement. We are so happy that you are here with us today. And joining me today is Emily Jean, a certified health coach who believes life is too short not to shine on. Welcome.
Why, thank you, dear. So excited to be here. I love it. Yes, shine on, ladies. Awesome.
Woohoo! Okay, so Emily Jean, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and maybe a little bit about what you do with women?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, I'm a certified holistic health coach. I went through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition program, and I've been out for about a year plus or so now. I was previously working for another health coach, a fitness blogger, working in a very general kind of health and wellness platform. But now I am super excited to finally be working much more on my passion and my absolute love, where I get to work with women who have spent a lifetime of dieting, being in the diet binge, the restriction mindset constantly, and working outside of that to get onto a level of balance, find more self-love, and create a life that feels much more fulfilling for them and isn't defined by calories, pant size, number on a scale, anything like that. Busting out of all those old boxes and into new epic awesomeness.
Yes. It's pretty fun. I love it. I love it. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about how your journey on how this kind of became your focus, because really as a holistic health coach, you could pick other focuses. But for you, where does that passion come from to help women get away from that scale, get away from the pant size, and get away from the counting calories and diet mentality?
Totally. I love it. So I do come from a long line of diet experience, if you will, professional dieter for sure. And originally, when I first got into health coaching, I was very much based in the paleo mindset. And I do believe that paleo has a lot of really, really wonderful benefits to it, in a sense, in a mainframe. But to me, in my experience, and coming from like I said, a long history of dieting, paleo was just another way to diet. Paleo was just another way to restrict myself, to, try and lose weight, to basically just like keep myself small. So as I kind of moved on and was able to reassess my perspective on all of this stuff, I finally realized that holy hell, I don't really want to be dieting anymore. I don't want to have this mindset of, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. I can only have dessert once I, run 5 miles or lose another 5 pounds, things like that, where it's always when I get here, then I can start living.
Totally.
I finally was able to, kind of chuck that out the window and really come home to myself in an entirely new way. Mm-hmm. And that's where the fun started.
Yeah. And I can totally identify. Yeah. And I think a lot of us can identify with that, especially that I'm good when I do this and I'm bad when I do this, or I'm good. These are foods that I'm a good person when I eat, and these are foods when I'm a bad person. And then, it's all tied up in terms of our self-worth, right? Our food becomes our self-worth. And it's that label that we end up putting on food, right? That we translate into ourselves.
Exactly. And it's so hard when you do put those labels on yourself and they come in so many different ways, shapes, and forms, and they're kind of sneaky too. Paleo, for me, it was really difficult to dig myself out of that label because it is seen as being really positive, and you're doing the right thing by being paleo. You're doing the right thing by being vegan, by being vegetarian, by whatever, anything of those kind of labels. Like, you're seen as this and you can often do this to yourself by seeing yourself as being, a quote, good person by doing such things. But at the same time, there's this other side of it that the minute you put a label on yourself and, kind of cap your life off at this certain point, there's the other end of it where the minute you step outside that box, it's like, oh crap, I've screwed up. I'm a failure. I've, ruined all of my progress. Anything like that, brings those negative feelings about. So in my mind, life doesn't exist on these two ends of the spectrum. There's definitely like this middle kind of gray area, and gray area sounds not really fun, but it actually is way more fun because it's not as confining or
more freedom.
Yes, you're not feeling the seesaw of life and just feeling, totally, wonked out by bouncing from one side to the other. I think that middle balance is where not only the fun is, but like the relaxation, just kind of being okay with where you're at. That is a really good feeling.
It's like the way you're describing it makes me think that's where the sunshine is. That's where the freedom and the sunshine is, right in that middle ground, and that's where it gets big. Life gets big. Life doesn't get small. Life gets big. Yeah,
exactly. Once you kind of shed these, side expectations of, the seesaw again, it's that middle point, like you said, it gets big, like, because there's so many ways to kind of grow out from that and expansive and find space and there's so much more to experiment with.
So as you were going through this journey to, letting go of that diet mentality and, moving into this place of more freedom and light, was there something that happened that really helped you find that path, or was there an aha moment or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time kind of pinpointing very specifically when that aha moment came. I do know that it was sort of a series of these small aha moments, I think. For one, I finally came to the realization at one point that what I was doing was not working. The anxiety that I was feeling around literally every meal, I finally realized that's not okay. It's not all right to be overanalyzing every piece of food that I chose to eat, deciding whether or not to feel good or bad about myself as to what was on my plate. And I think I might have read a blog post out there at some point that, what does a quote normal eater look like? And I was like, holy crap, that's not me. I'm not a quote normal eater. So something needed to happen. And it was sort of this realization that just because everybody else is dieting doesn't make it right. And so it was this evolution for me for sure. And it was sort of step by step. It wasn't, bam, all of a sudden things are changed and perfect, and I've released all of my dieting habits and whatnot. Those demons are still there. There's no doubt about that. And on a regular basis, I still have to kind of grapple with them. My calorie counting habits are still there. I still know pretty much exactly the number of calories on my plate every time, but it's a matter of moving beyond my self-worth as being determined by what the number of calories are, or how, whole foods my meal is, things like that. So it was definitely a series of events. I'd say one big aha moment, or one big leap maybe for me, was when I finally stopped weighing myself. That was a huge change. And now I'm going on over a year. I'm not even sure. I don't know the last time I weighed myself, and it's really freaking awesome.
Yes, I'm with you, girl. High five, virtual high five.
Seriously, it's so liberating. I mean, that number is so arbitrary in reality, and it's yet again another label. It may not be a word label, but it's a number label, and it's there, and we all wear it like on our foreheads, it seems. And yeah, it keeps you small. Even if you may feel, quote, big or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
It keeps you small in your little, your tiny world. Your world stays very small. Versus letting yourself kind of expand and be more than the damn number, basically.
I think you touched on an important point too that I think is always important for like us to remember, and women out there to remember too, is that it's a journey, and it's not like there's just like one day we wake up and all the body image issues are gone, or any of our food, restrictions and issues we have around with food and emotions we have attached with food, they don't like go away. And it's just a practice of like awareness and coming back to it, and being with it. And I've never met a woman, I was at the Body Love conference in Tucson recently, and not a single woman there said, oh yeah, I'm totally over it. Because it's so pervasive in our society that it's like we're having to constantly act against it. And if you just let it go, it's like it sneaks back in, like paleo is clean, paleo is good, and of course there's benefits to paleo, yes, but just that mentality that can go along with it.
Exactly. And like you're saying, the whole pervasive aspect of it. I mean, I hate to have us think of it as, always needing a wall up to like defend yourself in some way, but you need to have awareness of it for sure. And I think instead of having a wall, it's more this idea of having a self-care practice for one, and constantly remembering to come at it from a place of love for yourself, and knowing that what you do, or what you, I don't like using the word should, but the way that is best for you to come at it is from a place of self-love, and you just kind of approaching it from that each time, because it's going to come back each time. You're going to need to approach it with love again and again.
So it's like an iterative cycle. It's not this like linear path. It's like a little, I like to call things like spiral staircases, like we're moving up, we revisit, we move up, we revisit,
Yes, but you do, and that's it though, because you're going up each time, and that's what's really important to remember, because it can feel so often that you're like trudging through mud and you're not getting anywhere, but I think that there are certain points where you'll be like, oh, wow, had this come around, a month, 2 months, a year ago, I would have handled it completely differently. And when you can acknowledge those things, that's where it's like, oh, crazy cool. I'm actually like doing the work and making this happen.
Yeah, totally. So that kind of leads me to my like next question is like, so once you had that aha moment and have like started into this journey, and yes, it's a spiral staircase, but what are the big differences that you notice in your life? What kind of changes have happened in your life since this process started?
Yeah, definitely. I think being able to connect with other women who are searching for the same thing that I am, which is living life in this like crazy big space of I can literally do anything I want, and I'm probably going to. And so for me, it's been this amazing process of like connecting with people that are on the path, more or less. And to me, that's just so cool. I've never been able to connect with or on such a level as the way that I'm connecting with people now that I'm feeling more solid in my purpose, in my work. Since I've started really focusing in on this kind of coaching and moving away from the more traditional work that I was doing beforehand, but my life is just lit up, is the only way to put it. And I feel so inspired on a day-to-day basis, and having these conversations with clients and potential clients, it's just like, holy crap, I am so in the right spot. And so that's with work. And then for, life in general, I was meeting with some of my girlfriends over the weekend, and they're like, we've never seen you this happy. Like you're totally doing what you need to be doing. Like we're so proud of you, and it's one of those things that everything intersects, and it's so important to recognize how the diet and all of the restrictions that we place on ourselves, everything like that, it permeates into so many pieces of our life. And until we can feel really good about ourselves in one aspect of life, it then kind of rolls over into other pieces. And that's just such a cool feeling. Like I'm just so happy to be able to say, like, I love my life.
Yeah.
Things have really changed, and I sound so goofy and giddy when I talk about it, but like for the first time, I feel at home, like with this, like all of this year, like belly roll, whatever, not perfect arms, like I'm
and
like,
what is perfect?
Yeah.
I might say you have perfect arms. They work good.
Seriously, right? And it's this whole, you totally like shift your mind about it. And the change in perspective it's so fun.
Yeah. And I see like that parallel too, right? And I know in yoga, we see that parallel of how we show up for our yoga practices, how we're showing up for life. And I can see as you talk about it, it's like once you blew up and gave yourself so much more freedom and room in your mentality around food, your life has also gone into that space too.
Seriously, next level. Yeah. And I mean, my yoga practice was the same thing. And that was a really other interesting aspect of all of this kind of intertwined together was once I released this need to constantly be shrinking my body and constantly be restricting my food and everything, exercise at the same time took on this new paradigm shift too. And so yoga was what worked for me in the sense that all of a sudden I was able to find movement that was because of like it brought me joy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I was doing it so that my ass would look good in the jeans or something.
Yeah.
It was because I say that yoga is like my gym and my church.
Yeah.
And putting them together has been amazing. And so it's this whole, everything expands. And my yoga practice started like super kicking off, and I figured out how to do a headstand and was like, holy crap, I can do something like that. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
It just totally like, it blows my mind.
Yeah. And that's kind of one of the things that I see with yoga too, and its power. And that's what my body love path has been. But the power to see that your body is maybe capable of more than you think it is, or also just to see your body in different lights. Like your body can go upside down and you're going to be okay. What?
Whoa.
Right? Like, it can kind of blow your mind a bit. And then also just that, the yoga practice will get you to appreciate your body for new things. And one of the things that I really like to bring into the yoga practice is movement for pleasure in the moment. So not movement for that tighter bum you might get later, but for right in this moment. And that is instant gratification that we're not going to get by counting calories, that we're not going to get by burning so many calories at the gym, because it's like delayed gratification, instant gratification. Right now, this feels good.
Yeah.
Whatever that movement is.
Present, you know? That the act of being present is such a big part of it too. I think, and this goes into a lot of our practices around food, I think. For so many, food and diet can be a way to numb and like cut ourselves off and be constantly planning for the future. And it's this whole lack of staying present, staying with yourself. And yoga is totally that. It's this whole like, be here right now on your mat and just like focus and enjoy it. And that's such a cool thing to do in all aspects of your life. Even when things get ugly is the other part of it. Like, even if things aren't like all rainbows and sunshine and whatever, that you can still stay present and you're going to be okay.
Yeah, totally. Don't need to numb out with food or whatever it is.
Exactly.
So you as a holistic health coach, what is it like if I was coming to you as somebody who's like, okay, maybe I've hit that point where I'm like, I'm tired of all this restricting. I'm tired of feeling like crap about myself because I'm either a good person who's rewarding herself, or I'm a, bad person, and then I want to punish myself, and that whole back and forth, right? So if I'm coming to you, what are the kinds of things that you end up doing with women who are coming to you like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So within my practice, the sessions I've found to just be so powerful because it's this open and safe space for communication. Because these are things that we don't talk about. It's becoming more common to, bring stuff up about this, about body image, body love, self-love, things like that. It's definitely becoming more mainstream, I guess.
Yeah.
But I find so many women, they don't have this kind of communication with their friends on the level that we can get to in the session. So that's, I think, the most powerful part of it is the space for communication about something that's not talked about right now. And within that, I love being able to dive into these old stories we have around food, around our body image, around our expectation of what people are thinking or judging us for, things like that. That's where I think the gold is, because we have these, broken record kind of mindset that keeps going on and on and on. And we're so used to them that half the time we don't even know that they're playing in our game.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of what the conversation comes around. It's okay, what have I been telling myself for umpteen years about food, about my body, about what I'm allowed to do, what I don't deserve, things like that. And once we pick those out and kind of look at them and really call them out for what they are, they kind of lose their power. And that's a pretty cool thing, because for so long they've had so much power over us that being able to have a conversation about them is a huge part of it. Obviously, within that, I love doing what I call kick action items. And anytime I'm on a call with a client, a woman who is working through all of this, we'll be able to come up with these kick action items in between calls that are all right, these are solid things that you're either going to actively do, like a one-off, for example, this was probably one of my favorite ones. I personally, and I could relate so much to this client as well. You get 15 emails a day from these health gurus, right, that are telling you what you should and should not be eating, and you're constantly, using it to judge how good you've been, whatever. Well, for one thing, unsubscribe. And that was our kick action one week. And that completely changed things, because all of a sudden you're not being pervasively bombarded with this kind of stuff. So it's things like that where it's these little one-offs that can make a huge difference. Or another example, like a gratitude practice. The gratitude practice is something that I value so highly. And I think that no matter where you're at, it's something that can really provide value and perspective too. So it's definitely all over the board in a sense, but the beautiful thing of it is that when we work together one-on-one, it's this super tailored, very specific to you, the person trying to work through all of this, and we can totally kick butt together. So it's a lot of fun. I love working with women through these tough issues that have been a big part of their lives for a long time. But it's a lot of fun. We have a good time.
Awesome. So is there any action items that you think you might be able to offer to the people who are watching this video today that they could try out on their own?
Yeah, I love it. So first and foremost, and I mentioned this earlier about what kind of revolutionized my mindset, throw the freaking scale out the window.
Totally.
Let's just start there. Because let's eliminate that, morning or however many times a day you may be weighing yourself right now. Opportunities for you to judge yourself, basically. Let's cut that out. Let's take out that opportunity to put yourself in a box. And after that, I like I just mentioned, the whole gratitude practice. Morning or after, in the evening, whatever, little piece of paper and a journal, 3 things that you're grateful for, whether it's about your body, your current life, anything like that. What are you just so thankful for that it can't go unrecognized? They can be tiny, tiny things. It doesn't matter. Just recognize them and pull them out into the open, and kind of hold that in your heart space. And I really do hope that it can help you move forward on this. But it's a long journey, but we're here for you, and I'm really excited that to be part of this. It's a really wonderful and beautiful movement to be a part of.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're a part of it. I've loved connecting with you too. And So, if people want to reach you, they can reach you at your website, and I will definitely post it below the video. But if they, just in case too, your website is?
Yes, it's at www.theemilyjean.com. That's TheEmilyGean. Good if I could say my own name.
.com.
Anyways, yeah, .com. Yeah, you can find me on there, and Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I totally love Instagram, probably more than I should.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find me in those places too. I look forward to connecting with you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emily. And we will hopefully be doing more of this work together.
I totally agree. Thank you so much. And thank you to all who are watching. We're so happy to have you.
Yay.